Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the August 30th edition of the Coffee Club, your Tuesday morning jaunt around government waste, abuse of power, and everything that makes government bad. Let's do a little house cleaning first, since this is such a new show. The Coffee Club is broadcast at 9 a.m. Eastern Time every Tuesday at commonsenseconversation.com, or you might be catching this over at Ustream, ustream.tv, the channel excuse me, is the Coffee Club. It's recorded. You can come back to commonsenseconversation.com for the next week. The show's at 9 a.m. on Tuesdays. It's usually up as a recorded post by that evening. It's always up by Wednesday at noon. Also, over at Common Sense Conversation, there is a noon 5-minute nooner drive-by where I just throw out little bits and pieces of stuff that the government does to either waste your money or steal your rights. Like I do every week, let me tell you right now, the purpose of the Coffee Club, because this show does have a purpose. The purpose of the Coffee Club is to piss you off, make you mad. What's it supposed to make you mad about? Who's it supposed to make you mad at? Well, that one's easy. The Coffee Club is to make you mad at government. Not to make you mad at the country. To make you mad at the government that is currently running our country. We don't live in a democratic republic. We live in what is fast becoming a police state. And it's a police state that charges us more and more and more money to abuse our rights. And the purpose of the Coffee Club is to make you mad. It's to make you so mad that you'll do something about it. See, we do have a way in this country to fix things, short of armed rebellion. We've got a little thing called the vote, and the vote does mean something if we will all get off our asses and use it. That was demonstrated back in November of 2010. We sent a message, but the way things have been going since 2010, I don't think we sent a loud enough message. So, we need to just keep sending messages. If you look over there in the right sidebar of commonsenseconversation.com, you'll see a little widget where you can contact your Congress critter. You put in your address, street address, city, state, zip code, click submit. It'll throw back to you your state representative, your federal representative, and your 2 senators, their names, their addresses, their email addresses, their phone numbers, and I suggest you use that thing. Contact your Congress critter. As I go through every week, hopefully make you madder and madder and madder. You'll use that little widget over there, and you'll call up your congressman and you'll ask him one very important question. What in the hell do you think you're doing? That's not what I elected you for, dummy. And then you'll inform them that they will either start doing things the right way. Oh, and what is the right way, after all? This is Bob just telling you that their Congress people aren't doing things the right way. What's Bob's version of the right way? Well, that's easy. We have a little thing in this country called the Constitution. Attached to the Constitution is another little thing called the Bill of Rights. And since those first 10 amendments to the Constitution, called the Bill of Rights, were enacted, there have been some more amendments. Collectively, that's the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and subsequent amendments. That's the law of the land, people. That's what we should be following. If we followed the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and subsequent amendments, guess what? We wouldn't be broke right now. If we followed the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and subsequent amendments, guess what else? The TSA wouldn't be trying to touch your junk. Yeah, I know, I get on the TSA a lot. Well, they pretty much have it coming. Anyway, kind of got off topic there. Associated topic, not directly. Anyway, what you need to do is use that little Congress Critter widget, find out who your Congress Critter is, call him up and ask him what he's doing, why he's doing it, and why he doesn't follow the Constitution. Now, I'm not going to sit here. There's going to be people that say, well, the Constitution's an outdated document, blah, blah, blah. Well, it could be. That's a possibility. But I'm going to tell you what, folks, we're a nation of laws, not of men. And if the Constitution is wrong, and if the Bill of Rights is wrong, and if the subsequent amendments don't address things the way they should, we have a system to fix that. We have a legal system to amend the Constitution. It's been done before. We can do it again. But until we do, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and subsequent amendments are the law of the land. And we need to be calling our Congress critters and telling them, hey, Bubba, you swore an oath to uphold and defend that Constitution. Now, damn it, do it. So, that pretty well covers the purpose of this. The purpose of this show is to piss you off enough that you'll use that little widget, you'll call and contact your Congress critters, and you'll tell them, we're tired of this crap. They can either start ruling like they should, they can either start doing their job like they should, or they can polish up their resume. There's an election coming. It's up to them. So what do I want to rant and rave and rail about today? Well, going to be a little combination of two things. We're going to talk a little bit about budget and overspending and whose fault it is. And then we're going to talk a little bit about jobs. On the budget, I've got some interesting information out of the Los Angeles Times this week. Good information from the Los Angeles Times is proof that even a blind pig can find a pearl every now and then. The Los Angeles Times being the blind pig, not me. Y'all do have your coffee, right? This is the coffee club. Anyway, this little story in the Los Angeles Times broke down just how much money Obama's spending and compares it to Obama's favorite boogeyman, you know, George Bush. Everything's George Bush's fault. I'm surprised this hurricane last weekend and the earthquake the week before aren't George Bush's fault, but I'm sure they'll find a way. But anyway, on the economy, you know, that economy that is driving us into bankruptcy, I found out a couple of interesting things. Do you know how much George Bush increased our national debt over an 8-year period in office, 2,600 and some odd days? A little bit over $4 trillion. Do you know how much Obama has increased our national debt in less than 3 years of his first administration? 945 days to be exact. A little over $4 trillion. Bush increased the debt, and Bush screwed up. There's no doubt about it. I am not a Bush fan. He's just better than the alternative. But Bush increases the debt by $4 trillion in 2 full terms. Obama increases the debt by $4 trillion in 945 days. But our deficit climbing is all Bush's fault. Just ask Obama. And why hadn't he fixed it? Well, Bush left him such a mess. Oh, yeah. The other reasons he hadn't fixed it is, let's see, there's the tsunami in Japan. There's the Arab Spring in Egypt. Now we've had an earthquake in Washington and a very, very overhyped minor hurricane on the East Coast. That's why he hadn't fixed it. Doesn't have anything to do with the fact that his policy sucks. Let's talk about this $4 trillion that Obama's added to the debt in 945 days. Let's put $4 trillion into perspective. Just how much is $4 trillion? Well, how about $4,247,247,000,000 every single day of his administration? Yeah, I kind of stumbled through that one, so I'm going to say it again so y'all get it right. $4,247,000,000 every damn day. You know those days when he decided he didn't want to be president, he wanted to play golf? $4,247,000,000 on those golf days. You know those 6 times that he, so far, we're not done yet, but you know those 6 times in his presidency so far when he has said that it was time to pivot to jobs? Well, on those 6 days when he was pivoting to jobs, he took us another $4,247,000,000 into debt. You know that bus tour he took a couple weeks ago? You know, those 2 buses costing $1.1 million a piece, and that was for the bus. That was before the Secret Service started putting armor on them. Those 2 $1.1 million buses that he took on his jobs tour, talking about how he was hunting for jobs for Americans. You know, those 2 buses that were made in Canada by Prevost Bus Company in Ontario. Yeah, that bus tour, that 3-day bus tour, when he was out telling us what a good job he was doing on the economy. Yeah, that was $16 billion that was added to the national debt while he was out telling us what a good job he was doing. You know that day back early in his administration when we were told that if we would just pass this stimulus bill, unemployment would not go above 8%. Of course, now it's 9.1%. But you know that? You remember that day? That day we were lied to by the liar-in-chief and told that unemployment's not going to go over 8%. Yeah, that day, debt went up $4,247,000,000 that day. Sure did. You know that much money's hard to grasp. The amount of money that he's added to our debt is just really, really hard to wrap your head around. Damn, man. $4 trillion. How much is $4 trillion? $4 trillion? That's easy. It's $3 million every single minute of every single day. $3 million a minute. Now, let's see. So far, this show's been on for about 14 minutes. 3 times 14 is roughly 40, what, 42? $42 million since I started talking today. $3 million a minute. Or let me break it down a little bit more. Do you know what a trillion is? Do you know just how many dollars is in $1 trillion? How big is that number? How big is $1 trillion? I'll tell you. Folks, 1 trillion seconds ago. 1 trillion seconds ago. North America was under 250 feet of ice. It was called the Ice Age.